America, țară cunoscută și sub denumirea de Lumea Nouă. De când a fost descoperită, oameni din toate colțurile lumii nu continuesc să vină încoace în căutarea visului american. Aceștia au construit și continuă să construiască o țară bogată și puternică. Pe teritoriul imens al Statelor Unite ale Americii se împletesc și conviețuiesc în armonie culturi din lumea întreagă. America este lider mondial în diverse domenii, inclusiv tranzacții comerciale, industrie, producție alimentară sau asistență oferită altora. Mai bine de 20 de ani, America este un partener fidel și sigur pentru cetățenii țării noastre. William Moser, ambasadorul Statelor Unite ale Americii în Republica Moldova, veghează la trăinicia și durabilitatea punții construite timp de 2 decenii între țările noastre.
You know, when I came to Moldova, though, I really thought a lot about my time when I was in Bonn, West Germany. And the reason why I've always emphasized that it was West Germany, because that's what the circumstances were at the time. Now, you know, when I came here, I've always heard, oh, we're never going to solve the Transnistrian conflict. There will always be a separate Transnistria and a separate Moldova. But you know, that's exactly what people said in West Germany at the time, because they said there will always be an East Germany and we will never be a reunited country. And so I always tell my Moldovan interlocutors that it's not really always the case that just because things are one way in the current state doesn't mean that they'll always stay that way. And in fact, I think people were very surprised after a few years after I was in Germany that the country did become unified again. And it happened very, very quickly. Now, and that has been not a painful transition, but I will say it's been a challenging transition. But the same thing can happen to Moldova, where if we work on the right ways of trying to build up confidence between the two sides and look for ways to achieve peace, that kind of reunification process can happen in Moldova as well.
William Moser s-a născut și a crescut în Carolina de Nord, unde a obținut și o pregătire de prim rang în științe politice. Este căsătorit cu Mary Moser și împreună au 3 copii. Cariera diplomatică a ambasadorului Moser a început în urmă cu 30 de ani, timp în care și-a desfășurat activitatea în Germania, Ucraina, Kazahstan, Egipt, Surinam și Mali. Pe parcursul carierei sale, William Moser s-a învrednicit de numeroase distincții pentru contribuții în afaceri internaționale, management și politici publice. Excelența sa are merite incontestabile și în dezvoltarea statului nostru.
Activați în calitate de SUA timp de 3 ani. Ce ați reușit să realizați în această perioadă?
Well, there are many things that I am very, very proud of. But I will say, you know, when you're the ambassador, you're just head of a very, very effective team. And really, I can say that the team has performed very well in carrying out U.S. policy in the country. I think that we would be remiss if we didn't to start off by mentioning, of course, the road between Seraten and Soroka, the M2, which we have renovated, 93 kilometers of that. And now it is the first modern road in Moldova. And in fact, there's a clover leaf that people are amazed to look at because they said, well, we've never seen anything like this in Moldova because the road's straight and smooth and graded correctly, and it's a pleasure to ride on it. And you know, it's very interesting if you talk to the villagers along the highway, they can't believe that it's actually happened. And even 2 years ago, I had people from the villages tell me that they said, oh, this is not real. It will never happen. And that was all thanks to the Millennium Challenge account. Now, another part of our Millennium Challenge account, of course, is irrigation. And we are renovating 10 irrigation projects spread along the Punt and the Dniester rivers. And in fact, our first irrigation project in Creolin is scheduled to have water flowing very soon.
William Moser consideră că în ultimii ani am reușit împreună să schimbăm mai multe lucruri în bine, în special în domeniul justiției, agriculturii, comerțului. Dar, fără îndoială, mai avem încă de muncit și de învățat.
We really believe that the single most important factor holding Moldova back from further development is corruption. And the reason why this is really very complex and simple at the same time. The simple explanation is pretty easy to understand, though. Businesses do not want to invest if there is corrupt behaviors going to stack the deck against them. And you know, many people think that the salvation for countries is really foreign investment, but history shows, recent economic history shows that that's not true. The real source of investment in any country is really domestic investors. But I think that one of the tendencies in Moldova that you see is people that have money want to build big houses and not invest in businesses that will actually produce wealth for generations in the future. And this is something that you see is that instead of investing in cars and houses, you want to see people invest in small businesses and create new jobs and create opportunities.
Am urmărit activitatea dumneavoastră în ultimii 3 ani sau pe perioada mandatului dumneavoastră. Dacă în acest moment, domnule ambasador, vă ascultă mici producători din Moldova, ce le-ați spune? Ce lucruri ar avea succes în Statele Unite ale Americii? Ce s-ar vinde?
You know, John Kerry, the Secretary of State, was here in December of last year. And Mr. Kerry had a chance to introduce the Moldovan wine brand, the national Moldovan wine brand, which we had helped to design through one of our development assistance programs. It's called Moldovan Wines, a legend alive. You know, and I can't say it in Romanian, I really should be able to, but it is a wonderful, wonderful marketing slogan. Well, we took a group, because of Mr. Kerry's visit, we took a group of Moldovan wine producers to the United States this summer. One of the things that they learned was that, yes, it is possible for them to expand their U.S. marketing, but it's going to mean more consistency both in quality and in quantity of wine. And I think that there is possible to say that wine could be a very competitive product on the U.S. market. Another area where I think that you're going to see Moldova make a big impact, and it's already started, is in the fashion industry. You know, Ekaterina, if I can show you, it's in this house we had our first fashion show that after many years in 2012 in February. And it was a wonderful occasion. In fact, our catwalk was right where we're sitting right now, and people walked in front of here, and the house was crowded with people.
The U.S. government, as Mr. Moser there said, played an essential role by providing technical assistance to develop the industry. We think you will be most impressed.
Well, you know, not too long ago, we had the fall 2014 fashion walk, the Den Enema. And you know, what the improvement that I have seen in 2.5 years in the Moldovan fashion industry is astounding. And when you see particularly the high fashion women's clothes, it is amazing. And you realize that the Moldovan designers can compete, and they can do the things to make them internationally successful. My wife and I have been thrilled to be part of this effort. Now, when I tell other ambassadors that this is what I'm doing, they kind of look at me like I'm a little bit crazy, but they don't realize that this is really an important part of our programmatic activities in Moldova.
Și asta nu e tot. În ultimul deceniu, ambasada SUA la Chișinău a oferit unui număr de peste 4.000 de elevi, studenți și specialiști șansa de a se inspira și a învăța din experiența valoroasă americană chiar la fața locului. Ca mai apoi, reveniți la baștenă, să aducă experiența aici, la noi acasă.
You know, when they come back from the United States, I realize that we have built a bridge that's going to last a lifetime. We want to build solid ties with the United States because we want Moldova to realize its European identity. Moldova is a European country. Some people say that Moldova is not part of the European world. But you know, I had an interesting event recently where we have put in the National Museum objects that were found while we were building the road between Sărăteni and Soroca. Well, these objects are 7,000 years old, and they show Moldova as a part of the European civilization of 7,000 years ago. And we just want to remind Moldova that what was true 7,000 years ago is still true today, that they are part of that greater European family.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for your help, for your support, and for this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ekaterina. It's been a pleasure. Yes.
Thank you.